This is the Samsung Galaxy J3 2017 and you can pick them up now for about 25 euros. So how good are they today? Of course, 25 euros for a full smartphone is really cheap. But keep in mind that this phone is already pretty old. And when it was released, it was also a budget phone, so it doesn't have that many features. So it only has 16 gigabytes of storage, a 13 megapixel camera, and it was released with Android 7, but actually got an upgrade to Android 9. But we are already at Android 14, so it's pretty outdated. On my phone, Android already takes up 20 gigabytes, so this phone having 16 is pretty insane. But when we take a look at the build quality of this old Samsung, it's definitely not bad. It has a nice screen here on the front and there's a slight curve to the glass, which makes it look more premium, and it also has an aluminium back. So it definitely feels very well built and that it doesn't break easily, which for a cheap phone at that time is pretty impressive. Of course, because it's so old, it still uses the old micro USB, which is very annoying, so the charging of this phone can be really slow sometimes. But as you can see, luckily it does have a headphone jack, which I really appreciate, so you can easily plug in your headphones. And even though it only has a 720p panel on the back, with a screen that is 5 inches, it still looks like a really nice display. It has a nice screen that can go bright, but the colors also look really nice. And for the processor, it's using a 14 nanometer Exynos chip, so it's not the best. And when this thing was on Android 7, the performance felt fine, but now it just feels slow. And when you open an app, you just need to wait for a bit before it actually opens. And even with these basic animations, sometimes you can see that it struggles with that as well. So that's definitely not good. You can still watch YouTube on here and do basic things like internet browsing, but keep in mind that everything just feels slow. You get slow animations, it always takes a while for it to work, and that can definitely get annoying. So for example, now I'm gonna open the Play Store. And you can see how long that takes. It's still loading, which is insane. And with only 16 gigabytes of storage, you can't really do that much with this. So you can't store that much on this phone. It is a pretty basic smartphone. It doesn't have any special features, of course, and that's what you can expect at this price point. What's also cool is that it has the physical buttons that newer phones don't have anymore. So you can see your recent apps. You have a back arrow and the home button, but there's sadly no fingerprint sensor on this device. And even though the camera is only single 30 megapixel one, you can still get some decent results with the camera if you put in a lot of effort. So should you buy this thing in 2024? Well, obviously no, unless the only thing you do is calling, but this thing is slow, it doesn't work that fast, the storage gets full really quickly, it has a micro USB port, there's no reason to pick this one up. Of course, maybe just for fun to add to your collection, or for someone that only needs to call or it's their first smartphone, it can still be an okay option. Yes, you can still do most basic things on here, like taking photos, watching YouTube, browsing through the internet, but it's just slow, so keep that in mind. So do you also have a Galaxy J3? And if so, what is your experience with it? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.